There is something very strange going on in Thailand. Is that what we think it is? We uncovered this truth today on Makayo Messenger. Welcome to Makayo Messenger. It's good to be with you all this evening. And this is kind of an interesting one. Thought it was kind of curious and worthy of perhaps a little bit of looking. But if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button and that like button and that share button and all those buttons and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our fine videos here at Makayo Messenger. But this is kind of an interesting one. And I think you should, if you haven't already, be sure to check out this first video I'm showing you there. The new to the I to the R to the S. Make sure you check that one out because it connects with what we're talking about a little bit today. As you know, we're always digging into the deeper stuff here. And kind of interesting, curious little symbol that was used recently at this SUMMIT in Thailand. And, you might just think, well, maybe it's just, a design. It's just something that they're doing. It's part of their culture or something maybe. It just happens to look a lot like, But let's take a look at this a little bit deeper and see if there may be more to it than meet the eye, so to speak. Kind of curious, kind of interesting. So this is the symbol they be using. And if you don't know what the A to the P to the E to the C is, it's the Asia of the Pacific, Echo of the Namek, and the Cooper of the Asian. And basically it's very similar to all the other conglomerates that are trying to take over our world and destroy us one way or the other. This one supposedly is to, cooperate between all the businesses, it would seem. But when you look down and see who's running the whole thing, it's the usual suspects that come popping up to the surface there. There they are, the good old candidates for end of the world dictators are part of this wonderful organization. Oh man, look at her. We haven't even talked about her yet. Well, she's a good candidate right there on the right side. Oh yes, there's a lot of good candidates here. Look who made the cut. Oh, wife, it isn't our man from the Ukraine. So very interesting indeed. And so this organization got together, and they have their little meeting there. But it's kind of interesting the symbol that they chose to use for the meeting. Wouldn't you say? Well, before I look specifically at that, I think something we have to acknowledge is the overall GERMAN influence that's going on. Again, nothing wrong with GERMANs in general, but the ones that associate with the N to the A to the Z to the I, those are the ones we tend to have the problems with. And it seems to be surfacing lately, right? We heard about it in the Ukraine happening over there. It's been talked about there. And of course, there are some influencers today, such as this man here, who he's even worse than just just being N to the A to the Z to the I, because he's actually a J to the E to the W. So talk about the worst kind is selling out your own people. But it's on record. He actually confesses it here with great joy and delight that he turned in his own people back during the W to the W to the dose. And you can check out this video for yourself. But boy, he said it was happy times. Happy times. So he's a J to the E to the W who actually sold out his own kind and turned them in during that time. And he's very open about it. It's public knowledge. It's right there. Go ahead and check it out if you like. And then we've got this gentleman who also supposedly, and we're going to get a little bit deeper into him, perhaps with our candidates for the Antichrist series. So I won't go too deep on it right now, but he also has some J to the E to the W background as well. his name is, his last name is actually associated there. He was actually part of some meetings there with the J to the E to the W. So we'll talk more about that in something else. But he too is of the J to the E to the R to the AMAN association. And isn't it interesting that these are the guys kind of rising back in the scene? Both of these men, his parentage is also rumored to be connected with the N to the A to the Z to the I. Now, many say, oh, well, this isn't really his dad. They say it's this guy. But either way, they both have connections and are supporters of the N to the A to the Z to the I. So it is interesting that he would, that this is kind of rising on the scene again, right? They never really went away. They just kind of went dormant. Many think, oh, well, they escaped to South America or they went somewhere else. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But it's interesting to consider. Now they're all rising back up again. So they never really were eradicated. They just sort of went underground until the time came that was more advantageous to them. So, of course, connections have been made, comparisons have been made to some villains in fiction with both of these gentlemen. And you do kind of wonder, like, does evil just have a look or something? How is it that these people just happen to look exactly like the people in film? Or is it that the people in film are based on real people? One way or the other, you do kind of wonder, how is it that they just happen to be so apropos? And then here's, of course, this comparison between these two gentlemen as well. Here's from the famous Bond film, famous Bond villain. And they talk the same, too, same accent and everything. So you just kind of go, is this real? Am I living in a matrix? What's happening here? So back to Thailand. But I shared that. I shared for those two gentlemen for a reason because, it never really went away, right? It never really went away. Now, this is on mythai.org, and they say, no, that's not just a design, right? It's kind of what you could say, oh, well, there's just a design. They actually literally have a problem with this. It's part of their culture. And you see it on their posters. You see it on their paintings. As you see there, he's pictured among superheroes. Like, what is going on here, right? So it makes you question, right? See, they can try to pass it off as this. Well, it's a Buddhist thing. Is it? That's the question, because if you think about it, the G to the E to the R to the M to the A to the N's were in cahoots with Japan during that time and Asia in general. So as much as they might have gone and escaped to South America, they may have also escaped to Thailand. And so people are asking the question, is there a contingent here in this place? They have a lot of, it's like become the cool thing to wear this kind of paraphernalia. Don't worry, he's nude, but he's not showing anything. So anyway, this has become the cool culture for them, is to have this part of their culture. So when it's so predominant in their culture, and then you use it as the logo for your event, you have to kind of wonder, like, okay, these guys are all up about this stuff. People literally buy these costumes and they walk around with them there. And hey, this is just the news, I'm just telling you what's really going on in the world. So they're fixated on this iconography, and that's just part of their culture. But you got to wonder why. It's kind of odd, like Bangkok of all places. That's not where you're going to expect to be seeing this, right? But even their pop stars are wearing these T-shirts, right? So you have to say, why are they wearing this? Is it that they're just totally disconnected? They just totally see it as pop culture? I mean, I know, like, for example, Che Guevara was a very popular pop culture icon that you would see on T-shirts and so forth. And when you actually find out about the guy, you're like, is this a guy you want to be wearing on your shirt? So it could be that people just are totally clueless. But when you see it all over the culture and they have all these different pictures and they even show the CAMPs there, we saw that picture there. It's like, okay, they can't be that disconnected that they don't understand anything about anything of what they're sharing. It's one thing if you just see a symbol, but it's another thing if you see all those other images that go with it. But this is a thing, And here in there, I should say, not here, but there in that culture, in Asia, it's a very popular thing. You see cosplay. Cosplay is typically you dress up as a superhero or something like that, something from a comic book or something. But this is part of their cosplay is dressing up in this garb, and you just kind of think it's kind of sick, kind of. You can feel you can have a lot of feelings about it because there's a lot of feelings associated with it. But it makes you wonder, is there any connection with this area and an influence coming out of the original people that were doing this? So it just kind of makes you scratch your head when they're using that as the symbol on their actual get-together meeting. So it is actually making people, even Asians, are asking the question, is there a contingent in Thailand of these people? Well, just to kind of close out, this is just sort of get you thinking, think outside the box, kind of, what's really going on here? Is there something really going on? I mean, certainly when you put it together with everything else that's going on and all the sort of, dictator, tyrannical sort of agenda that's being played out, you have to wonder if there is not part of this contingent that's still influencing things, especially when we see that there really is part of this contingent that is influencing things like these guys, for example, who openly admit that, yes, I loved it. It was happy times, and they're financially and politically, you could say, are influencing things. By political, I know this guy isn't maybe directly in politics, but he's having a huge influence on it. So it does make you wonder. Ecclesiastes 1 says, what has been will be again, and what has been done will be done again. There's nothing new under the sun. So, a lot of times you think you eradicate something, you got rid of it. I know when I read about cannibal to the ism in the Bible, I thought, man, that's crazy. That would never happen. But it's still happening. It's still happening today. And all the other crazy stuff you see in the Bible, you think, oh, that was back then. That would never happen today. But you see it happening today. So, in the same way, it never really went away, kind of went underground there. So you got to kind of wonder what kind of influence that's having on culture and on things as we move forward. So just some thoughts for you there on this one. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments as well. As we continue to go into the end times with the cabal taking over, trying to bring those, they're trying to bring those images back in a way that maybe you won't notice it. It's kind of hidden iconography there. So something to consider. I'd love to get your feedback and thoughts on that. But wishing you all the best, guys. Keep looking up. I'll be back with more hopefully tomorrow. I've got some bigger videos planned for you that I've been working on, but they take me a little bit longer to get together, but they're a little meatier. So look forward to sharing those with you guys. Love you. Wish you all the best and all the blessed. And Maranatha.